Welcome. In today's video, I'm going to go through everything you need to know about Photoshop as a complete beginner. So let's start. I have my Photoshop open. Now you can see this Photoshop icon. You can see a new file and you see open. Now, if you are new to Photoshop, this place will be blank. And if it's the first time you're opening it, this will be blank. You can see welcome to Photoshop. So to start, I just want to quickly show something very quickly. If you click on this Photoshop icon, it takes you to your workspace. So let's go back by clicking on the home. This house, it gives you the home icon and takes you back here. Now to start, we have to open our file. So let's you can open your file in two ways. Either you open a new file by clicking file. You can select this custom image, or you can create a desired template to work with. And here you can adjust the width and the height and the resolution of whatever you want to work with, the color, RGB, and other things. So I'm going to pick this custom, for example, if I'm going to start. So I'll click this custom and I click on create. Here you have it, because I selected custom. Right. So I'm going to close this and open this workspace again, and it takes me back here. The other way you can open your Photoshop workspace is by importing your image. Right, you can either import, or you click on file, you can click on file, open, then you look for your image where you saved them, and so let me go to download. I downloaded just an image recently, and let me work with the image I just downloaded. Okay, so I select the image and I click on open. Here you have it. The other way you can open this image, so let's close this. Another way to open this image is to go to the folder where the image is. You click on the image, and you drag and you drop on your Photoshop. Voila. Now we have this image open. Now, as you can see, the Photoshop is divided into different sections. At the left, you have the toolbar, and just above the toolbar, you have the toolbar options. You have the tool options. Then by your right, you have your layer panel. You have your panel. Then this part where you have the image is called the canvas. So we're going to play with this image very quickly and do some manipulation with this image, so you see how Photoshop works as a beginner. So now this whole space is called your workspace in Photoshop. Now I mentioned this is a tool where you're going to work, so let's look at some of the tools that you'll be using most often. So this is your selection, your pick tool, your move tool. With your move tool, you can move your image wherever you want it. Now the good thing about Photoshop, once you start moving your image, if you see this line intersect, it means the image is centralized on your canvas. Then the next tool is the selection tool. This selection tool, you can actually use it to select certain part of your image depending on what you want to do. Let's assume I want just the head of this model. I will select this, and once it's done selecting, copy by pressing my Ctrl C, and I can paste Ctrl V. Now what happens when you do Ctrl C, Ctrl V, it creates a new layer of your image. And if I hide this, toggle this eye icon off, all you see is just the head. Now I can use my move tool again to move it to wherever I want it to be positioned. Okay, so the next tool there is the laser tool. So the laser tool is also a selection tool which can be used to select certain part of the object you're working with, and you can manipulate that and do whatever you have to do with it. Now to deselect, you can actually click on any of this other icon and click on the image or any part of the image, then the selection is off. The tool I use more often is the quick selection tool. Now the quick selection tool is under this object selection tool. Now another thing you need to know about this tool is for every tool you have here, there's an arrow here that once you click and hold for some seconds, you see the sub menu. Now I want to select this model. I'll have to click on this layer which I want to select. Then I click on my quick selection tool. Then I go to the option tools bar and click on select subject. Let's see what Photoshop will give us. Alright, so we can see Photoshop has selected this model in a very clean way. Now to make my selection more perfect, all I need to do is to press Q on my keyboard. Then you can see to see if the selection was actually okay. Now we can see that this was properly done, the hair selected correctly, and everything is showing. So this red place is the area that has not been selected. So I'll press my Q again to highlight it. Now I'll do the same thing by copying and pasting Ctrl C, Ctrl V to paste this model on a new layer. So I can hide this order and you see my model is standing without a background. So I've removed the background of this model, and that's how to remove background from your subject or your object or whatever object you're working with in Photoshop. So with the quick selection tool, you can select your image and you can also remove your image. You can use it to remove your image from the background, change the background using your quick selection tool. So let's go back for the background and apply some other more effect. Now let's talk about the crop tool. So with your crop tool, right, you can use it to adjust your image however you want it. So let me select this first image here, which I have here. So let's assume I want to crop this image. I don't want the extra here to show. So what I do is I move this. Don't want the white space there to show. I want this image to be cropped completely. You see that? I've selected the image just the way I want it. Now checking this delete crop pixel, what happens is when you check this crop, this extra goes away completely. But if you need this extra in the future, I'll suggest you leave it on check, right? But for now, because I don't need it, I'll just have to check it so that it goes off completely. Then I click the mark sign or I click enter. So there's the new dimension of this layer. So the next tool which I would like to talk about, which we use more often, is the brush tool. Now with your brush tool, you can simply use it to brush over your subject and your image. You can reduce the size of your brush, right, by pressing the bracket key on your keyboard, right, or you come to this brush option toolbar here and you reduce the size from 200 to 100. So the size of the brush will keep reducing as you reduce it here. Okay, so let's brush. Now you can see I'm painting blue, and why is it showing blue here? Is because you look at this color palette here, it tells you the blue. Now for you to toggle between white and blue, right, you can just press X on your keyboard, it goes white, then by the time you brush, it will brush on white. So your brush can be used to also create an effect on your canvas, right, to add colors and some other things that you need. Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about is let's talk about the So for the text tool, by clicking on the text, you may choose to write whatever name you want to add to your and typing what name should I give? I'm going to just say model. Right, you can change the color, highlighting it, make it white. Select my move tool. You can choose to move this to wherever. So to understand 4 tools you need to understand in Photoshop, please check this video to understand those 4 tools better. These tools were explained in this video very well. You can please check my video for that. Okay, so you can see all this. We have different layer here. So I have the text layer, I have the model layer, I also have this layer without the background. Remember, I cropped it out. I have this layer. So another thing, to undo what you have done, you can come here on this panel where you have the history, and you see all the actions you have carried out. Let's say I want to go to the action before the cropping. I'll just have to click on this, and there you have it. The full image is here. So I can show this and choose to hide all this and just show the ones without the background, and I can do this as well. Okay, so now let's talk about blending options. All right, let's quickly talk about blending, and I'm going to work with so I have these 3 layers here now, which can be viewed independently of each other, and that you can do by just holding, clicking on this eyes for you to have a single view of each. Let's say that. So let's assume I don't want this layer anymore. This is how you take it out. You select it and you drag it to this recycle bin, and there you go. It deleted that layer, so you have 2 layers left. So now let's talk about the gradient tool. So you click on the gradient tool here, then you come here, you create a new layer, right? By clicking on this create new layer icon, you have a new layer. Then you can come up here to the option toolbar for the gradient tool, then you select it. Now it gives you a dialog box. Now let's use these colors, right? Using these for the color, use this for the background, and use this to select the color you want. Just select on this box here and it gives you the color you want. Now let's see, you click OK, give us the color we want, and see what happens. You drag here. Now if you notice what happens, this gradient layer has override the image. So for us to have a good feel of this layer, all we need to do is to drag this layer 3 just below, in between layer 2. Once we see the blue line in between layer 2 and 0, we release it, then your image appears. So this is how to change the background of your image. Now you can decide where you want this the blue fill effect to come on, if you want it to be here or you want it here. So let's see how it look from both directions. Again, I'm still working with you. If I don't want it here, and maybe I want the blue light coming from here, I can do this. I'll just drag across. I will see the effect. So this gradient helps you to modify your image in a way that you think it's appealing to your audience. Okay, so that is that about the gradient So now that we have done these, you can also come here to the adjustment layer, right, to um, either add some saturation to your image, or to, let me drag this above the image. Now if you want the effect on this vibrance to just be on the what's it called, the layer 2, what you need to do, you need to use this clip to layer. Click on clip to layer. So anything you do on this vibrance adjustment layer, it will only affect it, it will not affect the layers below. So let's say this. So I'm going to increase the vibrance of this model. Let's see what happens. You know, just want it to be dramatic. Just want to be a bit dramatic. So whatever you think it's okay for your feel, then you're good to go. So now this is what happens without this, before, after, before, after. All right. So I think that's it. That we have to as well play with all these other adjustment layer. We have the black brightness and contrast. We have the low. We have the cold. We have the exposure and other things. So now that you're done working, the next thing to do is to save your work. Now, how do you save? What file format would you need to save? Now, the file format you use to save determine on the user of this image. If this image is going to the web, I think PNG is better. If this image is to be printed, there's a file format that it will be saved at. If this image is to be shared, right, then JPEG seems to be the most popular file format that most people use. So let's save using JPEG. How do you save using JPEG? You come to File. It's advisable you come to Save as Copy. Then you see Save JPEG. But if you can't find it there, perhaps you have something else there, you can see other options, other file format that you can actually save whatever you have done your images. So let's save with JPEG. Then we'll click on the location. Let me save on download, right, because it's just it's the records. Then you save. So when saving, is to have a good quality, it's better you leave the file size to be large, right? And you click OK. So that is all you need to know about Photoshop. And with every step that we've discussed, you'll be able to manipulate any image that you have with you. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more. You can check other videos that will be of help to you to learn every step that we have discussed on this channel in my previous and other videos. Thank you, and do have one day.